Hello everybody, my name is Thor Young. I'm a moderator of Bear Bull Traders, and today I'm going to be talking about a subject that I've talked about before, but I think is always good to come back and revisit from time to time. And that subject is which indicator is the easiest indicator for a new trader, a new day trader to start utilizing that they can throw it on their charts right now and they can just roll with. That indicator is the opening price. Now, we talk a lot about Fibonacci retracements, levels, and all of these things, but when it comes down to the stock market, what we're really talking about is value. And one of the things that happens right at the beginning of the day when the stock opens is the stock opens at a very specific price, and that price sets the tone for the rest of the day. And I'm going to show you an example on a trade I took on VIAC here in just a moment. So before I get into that, if you have a moment, please like the video if you can. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Ring that bell so you can get notified when we got more good stuff coming for you. And, and we'll make sure to keep bringing you guys fresh content. If there's anything you'd like to specifically see, please comment below and make sure that, put it in there, and I will make sure to put something around just for you, especially if you can get a lot of people to like it or, do similar comments. So anyway, moving forward and on to the recap here. So if you're noticing on Viacom up here at the top, notice how we have this yellow diamond here. This yellow diamond line, and I code it as diamonds just for me, just to remind me that that is the opening price, which I consider to basically be money for the day, so I code it with diamonds. But really, when the stock opens, this is gonna set the tone for the day. So you can see in the pre-market, Viacom wasn't doing a whole lot, and on the daily chart here, you could see we had a big move down here, and what I was interested in was this right here. We had this really higher than average volume here for the past few days pushing in here, and I wasn't really sure what exactly was going to happen, but I was reminded by one simple thing on this, right? And let me pull up my fundamentals bar, which I also brought up the other day. The short interest on Viacom is 18.2%. So there's a good chance this thing could have a squeeze. So I was really kind of interested to see how this would open up at the day. We had a lot of things working against my short trade here because of the potential for it to get squeezed. But I saw this push up here on volume and not a whole lot happened with it. So I didn't know if maybe that was just some covering or, some kind of rotation or something. Not really sure. So as we start to open on Viacom, the first thing it does is it opens up with a pretty good amount of volume. I mean, almost 2 million shares. And it comes right here. And you can see here we got the opening price right here. Can't do much with that. It comes down, it fails down underneath the previous daily level, and then comes right back up. And where does it go? Right for the opening price. But can't get above it. Can't close the candle there again. This time it comes right back up, hits into the opening price again. Now you can see earlier I actually tried a short here when it failed off the opening price this time, and I gave myself the loss of the top of this candle. So my 2-to-1 was just above low of day, and we never quite made it to it. So unfortunately I took a stop out when we came to break even because I did make an assumption that we were going to go back to the opening price. But at this point, we're getting multiple tests to the top side, kind of starting to look a lot like an ascending triangle. So I'm getting a little nervous actually that, maybe I've got this wrong. The only thing I'm seeing, and I'll point that out in a second, is the VPA was on my side with this one. Now, when we come back up to test again, I noticed every single time we came up and tested this level, I had high volume. Always at the top, never at the bottom. And that kind of made me think, I don't think we're buying up here on all of these big with really high volume that's getting supported, because every time that move happens, we actually drop in volume as we push up, and when we get to the top, we sell. So I'm really thinking we've probably got an iceberg up here, or a large seller that's squatting on the top of the price here trying to get their shares out. Once they're done, I have a feeling this thing's going to drop. So the stock continued to compress, and you can see actually form this ascending triangle wedge pattern here. And then finally we came up and we did this fourth test here. It actually managed to break above it and close a candle. And immediately after I did that, look what did not happen. No volume, right? No initiation. No bid stepped in there and grabbed the price. No larger participant had faith that this thing was going to launch, so they decided to initiate the position. And with the lack of volume there, I knew this thing was done. The seller was done. The bid was exhausted. This thing was going to go down. And sure enough, I went ahead and took that short right there. I gave it this time just the loss of pre-market high right here, because at this point we haven't retested that. So if we go again, I don't want to be in it. And instantly got a beautiful drop. And this first take was a little over 4R my risk, which was just fantastic. Another partial at 5, another partial at 6. I was half out of my position here. Captured almost 10R at this drop here. Sorry. About. I was up about 10 times my risk at this point. Got a little bit because I was off most of my position at this point. A little bit more off here, so I was exhausted and out of shares. We got a little bit of a pullback here. Got a nice little compression under the averages, so I averaged short. This time my stop loss was just the loss of this area because I needed to average in pretty heavy to make anything out of it. And then got some more partials, real nice here. Added in short off of this, partial at the level, partial down. So, and I got a couple more after that. So, just showing you, obviously pretty well traded after the fact, but there's a lot of instances where you will see a pattern like this and you're naturally going to think this is going to break out and become a strong pattern. It's going to launch. This is why patterns don't work the majority of the times. You need to pay attention to the volume profile to see what is creating the pattern. And if the pattern is not being created in the correct way, right, then you don't take the trade. You need both. You need it to be forming the pattern that you want, and you need the correct volume profile to go with that. If you can marry those two things together, you're going to find yourself significantly on the side of more trades that go for longer runs. I hope this was very helpful for everybody. Once again, if you haven't done it already, throw me a like. I'd really appreciate that. If you want more of these videos to come out, the more likes we can get, the more attention I'm going to be able to put into creating these videos. So really help me out with that. And thank you very much. Hope everyone has a great day. And as always, keep it green.